Hello, hello, hello again, Inspirators, back again at you again with my beautiful chili bean recipe. Okay, but we're gonna go on and take that stroll. How many of y'all liking this fall weather? It hasn't really kicked in yet, but we do get those cool nights. I ain't gonna say cold. We do get those cool nights. That's what we're getting right now. So in the state of Louisiana, so. I'm pretty sure it's going on in the South as well areas. So, hey, I'm loving it though. I'm loving it. So, we're gonna go on and kick that. We're gonna go to the kitchen, okay? We're going to the kitchen. Let's take this stroll. All right, Inspirators. Let's start out with our pinto beans, a 16-ounce package of pinto beans, and then we're gonna start out with room temperature to cool water, and we're gonna put those pinto beans in there to soak. You could do this overnight, or either you could do it 4 to 5 hours before you start your beans off. We're gonna soak our beans and make sure your beans are your water is at least 2 or 3 inches over your beans, because when your beans soak, they begin to swell. So we want to have that water for when it swells. All right, we have done that and our beans have swelled, and this has been an overnight process. So we're gonna go ahead and pour our beans into our boiler. And then what we're gonna do from there, we are going to put at least 8 to 10 cups of water into our boiler. And I would say from here, make sure that your water is at least 2 inches over your beans, because when those beans begin to cook, they begin to swell. All right, then next we're gonna go up to our next step, y'all. I have here a tablespoon of flour, and I'm about to place another tablespoon of sugar, which is 2 tablespoons of sugar. And then we're going to set that aside for later. Stir it up a little bit more. Then we're going to go ahead and set it aside for later. Then I'm going to combine all of my seasonings that I'm going to use in our beans. We're going to put a little bit of turmeric, which would be about a teaspoon of turmeric. And then we're going to go ahead with our Mexican chili powder. And on the chili powder, you can either use regular chilies if you want red chilies or green chilies. Sometimes I do both of them. Then we're gonna come with our paprika. Sometimes I also put my chili peppers into my chili. And then here we have thyme. Place about a teaspoon and a half of thyme. And then we're gonna also come with our onion powder. On a measurement with the onion powder, it is about a teaspoon at the most. And then we're going to come with a teaspoon of garlic powder. There's so many things that you can add to this recipe to really make it great. And then we're going to come with our black pepper. A teaspoon of black pepper. Then we're going to also come with a teaspoon of salt. All right, as you can see, I have my ground beef, a pound of ground beef, going along in this frying pan. Then I'm going to come with my onion. I have one small medium onion and 2 cloves of garlic. I'm also going to be adding a 6 ounce of tomato paste, 6 ounce can of tomato paste, and like I mentioned before, jalapeno peppers is optional when adding into this recipe, but sometimes I prefer it. I prefer it separately because others do not like it when I'm cooking for family, y'all. All right, we're off to the races with these beans, and they are coming along just fine. And it has been about 40 minutes later with those beans. And okay, here we go. Now I've chopped up my cloves, my garlic cloves, and my onions are also. We're going to place them into our ground beef. And like I said, the ground beef is fully cooked, but I also like to add my onions into my ground beef when the ground beef has been drained. And of course, I have kept the beef broth because I will add it in later. So here we go with our tomato paste here. 15 minutes later, we are on to go with this tomato paste, and we're going to add it into our beef. And the onions are well cooked. All right, then, as y'all can remember, here's the seasoning that I added together, all of the seasonings. I'm placing into the mix. And on the average, when it comes to seasonings, go at your own risk with that. How much you would like to have into it. Play at your own risk when it comes to that. Then we're going to stir everything else up together. Because I know I like extra chili powder. And peppers sometimes. That depends. All right, as y'all can see, I added a little bit of water into our mix to get all of that goodness out of that can. I'm gonna work everything in together and make us a meaty sauce. And after I stir everything together, I'm going to let this meaty sauce I'm gonna let it cook on a simmering temperature, about 15 to 20 minutes. Okay, our beans are ready. And that's been like an hour and 45 minutes of cooking. Then we're gonna also place our meaty sauce into our beans. Do not drain your water off your beans. If you have too much water on your beans, it's gonna be like over It's probably gonna be like, if you have like 2 inches of water over your beans, which you shouldn't if you use 8 to 10 cups of water. It should be like an inch over your beans if you're using the 16-ounce package of beans like instructed. So you shouldn't have that problem. But anyway, just go ahead and mix your beef into your beans. And then what you're going to do after that, you're going to let your beans, you're going to let them simmer, I would say about another 20 minutes. Okay, here's 20 to 15 to 20 minutes later. I'm going to, y'all remember the flour and the sugar. So what I'm going to do is add some ketchup into the mix. And that's going to equal about a half cup of ketchup. I'm going to stir that in together. And this is optional. You do not have to put ketchup into your beans, but I do that for more flavor. You can also add hot sauce if you do not want to deal with peppers, but you prefer it to be spicy. You can also use hot sauce. And I would say at the most just about 4 to 5 shakes of hot sauce. All right, once again, we're going to stir it up real good and then let it simmer a little bit more. Just let it simmer down on our medium to low heat. And by the way, you all, I am adding, now this is me going off on my own now. I'm adding more chili powder into the mix. I'm going out on my own with my seasonings, okay? So, like I said, your own seasonings varies to your taste. But I'm just giving you the recipe so you can add more or less of what I'm adding into my recipe. And I also like to add sugar. I also just put that in there with the flour. So if you don't want sugar in your recipe, you do not have to put sugar into your beans. That is optional as well. I'm going to taste it. And to me, it is a bam slam. All right. And then, of course, we're going to let it simmer a little bit more on a medium heat, medium to low. About 30 minutes, and here we are. The beans are ready, y'all. They are ready, as you all can see. All right, no, I don't have cornbread, y'all. So, but don't forget to comment, like, subscribe, and share, you guys. If you like what's coming to you from Living with V. Thanks for taking that stroll just to see how everything goes when living with V.